teachings of people like UG Krishna Murti, Gurdjieff, various Zen masters, probably Jesus Christ, although I wasn't around at the time. But these teachings go through sort of a process. While these people are alive, their teachings are volatile. The teachings are alive because the person's alive, and the people who are around those people have really quite a hard time. It's well known, for example, that Gurdjieff changed his methods and basically pushed people away various times in his life because he was trying to find the best way to work with people. And same with UG Krishna Murti. UG Krishna Murti would say to people, I don't know why you've come here. And the Zen masters are well known for giving people a hard time. I can't imagine that Jesus Christ was any different, but as I say, I wasn't around at the time. So this is what it's like when the person who does something significant in this kind of line of work is alive. When they die, what happens is that what they did becomes crystallized into something that is fixed, and then you get all the bullshitters, basically the people who read the books, the people who want to create some kind of system or method out of what they taught. And I can guarantee this will happen with UG Krishna Murti, and UG Krishna Murti told people he had no teaching. I'll guarantee someone will formalize it. And what these people produce is something that is dead. It's fixed, stable. If you want to know what it's about this year, it will be the same story next year. So it's dead. There's no life left in it. So I want to talk about dangerous people. Why are they dangerous? Well, they're dangerous because they challenge a number of our preconceptions. One of our preconceptions is that the truth, whatever that is something that can be put into a book or into some kind of method or into some kind of practice. The truth isn't that kind of thing. The truth is a living thing for every individual person. If someone gets caught into a fixed way of understanding, so for the sake of argument, say they go to some guru who's teaching the same thing, some ancient kind of method or whatever, they will basically fill themselves up with process and methods and so-called knowledge and so on that's set in concrete, and that person will believe that they're making some kind of progress by filling themselves up like that. And yet Jesus Christ was fairly adamant on all of this. He said the rich man has less chance of going to the kingdom of heaven or getting into the kingdom of heaven than a camel has in passing through the eye of a needle. Well, rich man people, interpret that to mean he's loaded with money. Well, he's not talking about that. He's talking about people who are full of stuff, full of beliefs, full of opinions, full of what they believe to be knowledge, and so on and so forth. When someone is full like that, there's no room for anything else. So what happens with all these traditions like the Gurdjieff work? People studying Beelzebub's tales, year in, decade in, decade out, filling themselves up with every nuance of every word. Is there any room left in there for anything else? No. The Zen masters were very, very good. If somebody went to a Zen master, he would always probably say something different this week to what he said last week. Why would he do that? Because he didn't want his students filling themselves up with what they believe to be knowledge. And in fact, there's a very well-known Zen master who, whenever anybody went to him, would simply just say, I don't know. So they say, what is the purpose of life? I don't know. What is the one true way? I don't know. What is Zen practice? I don't know. So he didn't even bother, sort of filling them up with one thing one week and then contradicting it next week. So this is challenging for people because people want stability. It's not really the person who wants stability, it's their ego. The ego wants to be able to say, this is what I have acquired over the past 3 or 4 years. I know all this stuff. And the ego treats it like it's property. You know, someone will read some particular philosopher or maybe some spiritual giant or, you know, whatever. And they will study it and they will acquire it and pull it into their mind, and it's like they're acquiring some kind of property. And that's how the ego works. The ego thinks that acquiring more stuff, not only externally but internally, is the way to ensure greater stability. And that's how most people work. So when that is challenged by someone who knows what they're doing, then the ego doesn't like it. Well, you know, I've learnt all this for the past 2 years. Yeah, but it's all crap. No, it's not crap. I've acquired it. I understand it. So people basically then become ossified. They just, you know, they become effectively like a marble statue, just fixed in what they believe they understand, and so on and so forth. Someone once said to me that in a real spiritual path, the thing that you have to watch out for is your limit of what he called randomicity. I'm not even sure that that's a word. But what he was saying was, you have to shed stuff, not acquire stuff. You have to shed your beliefs and your habits, and that is a painful process, and you have to monitor how you're going with it, because the ego doesn't like it, and actually it can be dangerous because it can leave you without any kind of foundation. But this is what real spiritual work is about. Real spiritual work, and I hate that word, but I can't think of another. Real spiritual work is about shedding stuff. It's not about acquiring stuff. So, you know, a real teacher may say one thing one week, something opposite the following week. He may pronounce one practice one week and denounce it the next week. And you may think that that's really just random nonsense, but it isn't, because what it teaches the ego is that there's nothing to hold on to. And as I say, that can be a potentially dangerous thing. But if done in a controlled way, then your being starts to free up. Because the ego is sort of like a vice. It's got hold of what is really free within you, and you start to free up. And in the end, you want to be around dangerous people, because dangerous people will challenge you. They'll help you empty yourself of all the crap you've acquired over the past however many years, and they will teach you not to hang on to things, ideas, methods, and so on. Anyone who's teaching a fixed method, who's presenting themselves as having the answer, is a charlatan. Absolutely 100%. There's no exceptions to that. Because, as it says in the Bible, the wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. And of course, people put pretty interpretations onto that, but what it's basically saying is that something that is alive, something that has spirit in it, some teaching that is alive, is basically a wild thing. You don't know where it's going to go, and you can't really tell where it's going to lead you. So, having probably pissed a lot of people off at that point, I'll bid farewell.